How many beaches do you pull from? How many locations?
Well, we've opened 13 right now, 13, I'd say. And so when I say that's 13, probably 5 miles for each of those locations. And then we would do the riverways, kind of the rivers that flow through the different counties. So those would, you we're probably in about 16 locations. I mean, there's massive more. The challenge kind of with expansion like that or trying to reach out to Lake Victoria, which is probably about 300 miles from Nairobi, is transportation costs. We've got to fund getting kind of all of those flip flops down to Nairobi, and that can be quite expensive. So we try to, get them where, there's the transportation cost of moving, the trash, if you will, isn't so high. It doesn't kind of eat up all our cash.
What would happen if someone just like donated 10 million flip flops to you? Would that be a good thing or a terrible thing?
It's funny. There's a company called Four Oceans. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're always like calling me and saying, take your flip flops. So the issue is, one, Kenya, would they import them from outside? Kenya values them. And so there'd be a huge import tax on them. That's one, which, is crazy because, obviously with some of the changes globally around, where the trash went, things like that, a lot of countries are like kind of walking down on taking other people's trash and they would be considered that. So that would be one. We would love it. Like if it actually worked out or somehow, that would work out. But, that is the biggest problem is actually Kenya probably wouldn't let it be imported, sadly.
Have you tried to get the government of Kenya to have you considered like donating to the government or, the government buying one of the pieces to publicly show their support for the nation's waterways, and oceans?
Yeah, they have. I mean, KW, we have two groups, UNEP, which is the UN's environmental program there. It's headquartered in Nairobi. We have every climate change, every like king and queen of England were just there. And, we always are part of, I would say, any type of anything that's environment. They will have pieces there. They have some of our art there. We have the Kenya Wildlife Service that gets involved. So we partner with them a lot. I mean, Kenya is in a hyperinflation mode right now, like trying to, figure their way out of that. So they're interested in riverways and waterways, but, I think there's a couple other issues in front of them. We do have huge support, I would say, not so much from our president. I mean, he is, and he definitely knows of us and things like that. But, in terms of these communities or the Ministry of, Interior and Tourism, we're quite kind of up there in that space. We don't ourselves take on a lot of what I would call lobbying. You know what I mean? It's like, I think there's other groups probably better for us. Again, going back to our advocates for it. And so it's like, if it's in your, in your face, you kind of understand what we represent.
Are there any groups or people that are against what you do for some reason?
It's funny. We get sometimes our video. We've had two viral videos. One was on Business Insider that lots of people have seen. It's a great 6 minute, and I highly recommend going to YouTube on our channel or theirs and looking at it. Kind of tells in a nutshell in 6 minutes story. And we've also had one called The Flip Flop Artist. That was about 2017, I think 187 million. That's what drove us to go online. And we do get people that will say, see the guys, doing sanding, because obviously to finish the art, they need to sand it, working with rudimentary knives, so you do get people that, kind of have judgment against how things are done or, kind of concerned about health and safety. But in the main, I would say we do not have, people resisting it. We just get we call them, keyboard warriors that, which you've probably encountered some, is, that have statements of those. And it's fair enough, I think, yes. I will tell you funny story because we were just looking into the new platform X, obviously previous Twitter and the others, this whole revenue sharing program. And, we do draw a lot of attention with some of our content. And so it's like, when are we going to monetize? I'm like, I followed some guy and he was saying, you trolls, I hate you, but I'm driving a Ford F-450 that cost me about $200,000 because of you trolls. So keep it up. Because they're engaging, you know what I mean? Because of the engagement up so high. So I was like, God, the world's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. You can recycle the troll. You can upcycle the trolls, actually. That's what you're doing.
We can all get on them and push them in one direction. But yeah, I think there's some people that's just what they do, or they even get paid. I think there's even people that get paid to be trolls nowadays. There's in this new economy, this whole, you kind of wonder where all the money comes from, and then you start to really see, there's a lot of people online kind of opinions.